Hi, Debbie again. I wanted to share another project with you. This one is a shadow box that I made that I wanted to give to my son and my daughter-in-law. And I did not have a shadow box when I went to make this, and I couldn't find one locally. So I decided to make my own. And what I did was I just decided how many of the sections that I wanted to have and what size, and then I just drew out one continuous frame on corrugated cardboard, and I cut out, I think it was 4 layers of the corrugated cardboard, and I glued them together. And in some places when I glued it, I just mushed it down. I didn't want it all completely even. I wanted it to look sort of uneven and distressed. And once it all dried, I just put glue on the back of the whole continuous piece and then glued it into the frame. On the background, I used a pattern paper it was white paper that had a black script on it. And this was tissue paper that I glued into this one. And then on the divider, I used Tim Holtz tissue tape. And because I was afraid the tissue tape wouldn't actually stay stuck to it, I used decoupage to make sure that it glued down. And I used decoupage on the tissue paper and on the paper that I glued in the back of the frames. And then I took the frame itself and I painted it black. I painted white on the inside, and then on the frame itself I painted it black and just distressed it with my sanding pad, and then used vintage photo on the edges. And I'll zoom in so you can see how it's distressed the edges of the frame. And then in the top corner, the top left corner, I'll bring that up. That is a Stampin' Up stamp, and I don't have the name of it. I can't remember what it was called, but it was a really detailed stamp with leaves and vines on it, and I stamped it onto tracing paper, and I put a little bit of color with my Tim Holtz Distress markers, and then I turned it over and I sort of embossed it on the back to make it look like it was puffy, and then I covered it with glossy accents. Then I just took a piece of wire and I wound it around a pencil and made this stick pin like piece here. Hung a love charm, and then I made a little charm with a dragonfly wings and a bead, and hung it from that stick pin. And then I just printed this from my computer and stamped it with I die cut it with a heart die that I had, and it says "Love gives us wings." And I tied a burgundy ribbon on it. And then in this corner, that was a black and white photo of my daughter-in-law, and that photo and this photo of my son, I printed a phrase on the back of a piece of cellophane, and then I glued them on top of the 2 black and white photos. And in here, this was a button, and it was gold, and I didn't really want gold, I wanted silver, so I put Versamark ink on the button, and I embossed it with silver embossing powder. And then this was a air dry clay, and I just made it into a square, and did the same thing with that, but I did emboss it with silver and gold. And then these were little paper butterflies that I had from a pack. I don't remember who the butterflies were from, but I used these because they were sort of a burgundy color. Excuse me. And I sprayed them with a mist so that they came out with a sort of a gold color on them. The mist I had was a burgundy color, and it had gold in it, and then I used black stickles on this one. And then for the flower, this was a Sizzlix flower, that a Sizzlix die that I had that did these rosettes. And so I cut the flower with that die, and then I cut another one, but I used it as a fan shape and just glued it into the box, and I painted it with black paint and then sprayed it with the same spray so that it had like a gold tint to it. And for the brad and for the lock and key, I also wanted them to look old and rusty, so I also put silver paint on them, and then I dipped them in silver embossing powder. I did the same with this, and then when I heated them with the heat gun, the paint bubbled up and mixed with the embossing powder, and it gave it a really rough, rugged appearance. And this one I just went back in distressed with Rusty Hinge, the Tim Holtz Distress ink. And then this one, I sprayed it with my spray and also sprayed the paper so that I got that burgundy color. I made a stick pin with a pearl and a bead cap, and then hung a heart charm from it. And then these were just pearl sprays that I had, and I cut pieces off of it. And then that was a fabric leaf. Well, there's two there actually. And I think that's it. But I just wanted to share it because I actually was happy with the way it turned out, because I didn't have a shadow box, and I kept trying to figure out how I could actually make one for myself, and I'm real happy with it. So that's another gift for my son and my daughter-in-law. Thank you for watching. Bye.